What did you take away from the quick two-game sweep in San Diego?
The Mariners' pitching is still their strength. It's still what's keeping them afloat. I mean, Padres top 10 in most offensive categories. So you took out a very good offensive team on their home field and a team that's got something to play for. So that's a solid. Those are solid 2 wins there. And more importantly, seeing Logan Gilbert be Logan Gilbert. I know the end he gave up a couple runs, but 7+ innings, 3 runs, quality start again. Bryce Miller, same thing. They shut him out in game 2. So great to see the offense come to life in game 1. Julio going 4 for 4. That was huge. Followed it up with an 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. But just seeing that with Polanco getting a couple base knocks, getting some of these guys moments of success out there because they're going to need it. The offense is still the biggest key, biggest issue, whatever you want to say. It's got to be more consistent if this team's going to find the postseason and, more importantly, make a run.
Julio and Polanco had their moments against the Padres. Was it enough to be encouraged?
Encouraged for the moment. I've talked about this on the show with Dave that, I'm sort of done saying, this guy's fixed. He's finally, this is going to take all the pressure off, and he finally, got over the hump or the monkey off his back, whatever cliche you want to throw out there, because we've seen it throughout the season where somebody will have a game or somebody comes up with a big moment and you feel like Mitch Garver, the walk-off home run. Okay, finally, he can breathe. He's going to relax. He's going to be that guy. And it just hasn't happened on any regular basis with anybody. So everybody's sort of taken turns having moments, whether it's Julio, whether it's Garver, whether it's Canzone, Cal, you name it. They've had good games and come up big in crucial moments. The problem has been stringing it together and just having some level of consistency. So it's encouraging to see. I'm not counting on the fact that, okay, they're cured and now they're just going to be these guys moving forward. I hope that's the case, but I think after, we're 68 games left in the season, this is just kind of who they are. They're uneven. So, like we just talked about with Julio, he goes 4 for 4 one night, home run, double, couple singles. Next night, 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. So it's about finding that middle ground.
Gregory Santos had an eventful first outing out of the bullpen. What did you think?
Loved it. Loved the attitude. Loved that Profar took exception to a ball that was up and in. It wasn't that close. If he stood like a statue, it wouldn't have hit him. But he put a little extra, whining on there. And then to see Santos just kind of look back at him like, what are you going to do? What's your problem? I like that he came out there with some fire. I like that he brought some attitude. And more importantly, it's just a weapon in that bullpen you've needed. They've relied so heavily on Stanek, who, overall has been really, really good, but he's had a couple of hiccups as of late. They've overworked some guys that I don't think they were intending to work that much, with Brash being out, with Santos being out, with Spire being out. So to get that arm back, guy can throw 102 and comes up there with a bit of an attitude, that's huge for that bullpen.
Would you be willing to part with Bryce Miller or Bryan Woo in a trade for a big bat?
Yeah, I guess it depends on which bat we're talking about. And is it a rental? I don't love that for a rental, but if the Mariners identify this season as their best opportunity to, A, win the division and make a run through the postseason, if they get this bat, you got to strike while the iron's hot. The one thing I will say is, as much as we lament the offense and the fact that they don't really develop big offensive threats, they do develop pitching. And I'd hate to see either one of them go, but I have faith that they're going to be able to identify other young arms and develop them and find other versions of these guys, hopefully, because that's where their strength has been developing, identifying pitching and developing it, hitting offense. That's been the problem. So I'm not eager to get rid of either of those guys, but if it's the right bat, if you're talking about Vlad Guerrero, you're talking about somebody who's got some control, who's still young, you're not talking about a 32-year-old rental, okay, then I'm in.
Who needs a good series as the M's wrap up the first half with 4 games in Anaheim?
I think Julio still needs it. I mean, it was great again to see that 4 for 4 and the home run, but he's the man. He's the key. He's everything that this lineup needs. He would be the addition of a new bat if you could get him just getting some regularity to his production. And if he can do that, if he can just, he doesn't have to be Aaron Judge, it'd be great if he were functioning at that level. But if you can just get him contributing more and get that slug number up and get that OPS going, that's a huge addition to this lineup. And I think other guys feed off of that. So I think when he's going well, it's contagious and it takes some of the pressure off the rest of the lineup that doesn't have his natural ability. And they're trying to do things that maybe they're not as adept at completing as he is when he's on. So for me, if I'm going to point to one, I mean, it's great to see Polanco. It's great to see some of these other guys you brought in contribute. You still need that, but the biggest key to this lineup remains Julio Rodriguez.